Hello students, today we are covering lesson 3.4 on solving equations using multiplication and division. Follow along with me in your Big Ideas textbook on page 104. I would like you to take a moment to write down the key ideas. First, we have multiplication property of equality. It says multiplying each side of an equation by the same number produces an equivalent expression. So if we have A equals B, then A times C will also equal B times C. And the opposite is true as well. Division property of equality says that dividing each side of an equation by the same number produces an equivalent equation. So if A equals B, then A divided by C equals B divided by C. But remember, C cannot equal 0 because we cannot have 0 in a denominator. Remember, multiplication and division are inverse operations of each other. So pause the video and write this down. Okay, example 1 is solving equations, which begins on page 104. We have x over 3 equals negative 6. Now x is being divided by 3. So we have to ask ourselves, what is the inverse operation of division? Well, that would be multiplication. So in order to solve for x, we need to multiply both sides by 3 to undo the division. So I'm going to multiply the left side times 3, and I'm also going to multiply the right side times 3. Now imagine 3 over 1. You can cross cancel the 3 over 3 because 3x divided by 3 makes 1x, or simply just x. Bring down the equal sign. Negative 6 times 3 is negative 18. Now, we're not done yet because I want you to go back and check. X is a number. Some number divided by 3 will make negative 6. So we can go back and check. Negative 18 divided by 3 does equal negative 6. Therefore, we are correct. Now, let's solve B. 18 equals negative 4y. Negative 4y means negative 4 times y. So to undo the multiplication here, we need to divide, use the inverse operation. Divide negative 4 to both sides. Now I know negative 4 divided by negative 4 cancels out to 1. So 1y is simply just y. And now we need to divide 18 by negative 4. So I'm going to work that out over here. Remember, it's negative, so I'm going to put the negative sign up there. 4 goes into 18 4 times. And I get 2 left over. So I'm going to add a decimal point with a 0. Bring it down. 4 goes into 25 times evenly. And our answer would be negative 4.5 equals y. Again, go back and check. So to check our work, we would substitute, I'll show it in red here, 18 equals negative 4 times negative 4.5. If you work that out over here, that's 20. That's 18.0, and it's positive since they have a negative times a negative. That makes a positive. So when we check our work, we're correct, and we can continue on with the next example. Right now, I'd like you to try numbers 1 through 3 on your own on page 104. Solve the problems and show all your work in your notes. Okay, example 2 is solving an equation using reciprocals. Now, we have negative 4/5 x equals negative 8. Now, it's negative 4/5 times x. I'm going to write this down. Equals negative 8. To undo multiplication here, we have to divide. Now remember, dividing fractions is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply both sides times the reciprocal of negative 4 over 5, which becomes negative 5 over 4. And I'm going to do that to both sides to keep it equivalent. Now looking here, we will see that the 5's cross cancel and the 4's cross cancel. A negative times a negative makes positive 1. So we can just bring it down as positive x equals. Now I'm going to show 8 as 8 over 1. And now I'm going to look to see if I can cross simplify. Well, 4 and 8 are both divisible by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 8 divided by 4 is 2. So now I have 2 times negative 2. Don't forget the negative here. Negative 2 times negative 5 makes positive 10 over 1, which is simply just 10. Now I'm going to go back and check my work. So I plug in x equals 10 into the original equation. 4/5 times 10 should equal negative 8. I'm going to put 10 over 1, and I'm going to cross simplify here. Okay, negative 4 times 2 is negative 8 over 1. Negative 8 over 1 does equal 8, negative 8, so we are correct. Now I'd like you to try 4 through 6 on your own by multiplying by the reciprocal. Okay, example 3 is our last example. We have the record low temperature in Arizona is 1.6 times the record low temperature in Rhode Island. What is the record low temperature in Rhode Island? So remember our gate icons. The flower means details. And the details in this equation is that we need to find the low temperature for Rhode Island. So I'm going to call R the Rhode Island temperature. And that's my variable. I think in your textbook it uses the variable T. It doesn't matter what variable you use as long as you set it up correctly. And it says the low temperature is 1.6 times the low temperature of Rhode Island. So we have 1.6 times R, the Rhode Island temperature. I'm going to use the same lowercase. And this is equal to the temperature in Arizona. Now looking at the picture here, Arizona has a low temperature of negative 40 degrees. So I'm going to set that equal to negative 40. Now to isolate our variable, we need to undo the multiplication by dividing both sides by 1.6. And that cancels out. So negative 40 divided by 1.6, move the decimal over 1 time to the right in both places. 16 goes into 40 twice, which is 32. And bring down the 8, bring down the 0. 16 goes into 80 5 times, and it actually goes evenly. So our value for R, remember, it is negative 40 divided by 1.6, so our answer will be negative 25. So the temperature, the low temperature for Rhode Island is negative 25 degrees Fahrenheit. Now I would like you to try our next question on your own, number 7. And it says the record low temperature in Hawaii is negative 0.15 times the low temperature in Alaska. The record low temperature in Hawaii is 12 degrees Fahrenheit. Find the record low temperature for Alaska. Set it up a similar way as we did on the last example. And today's exit ticket is writing. The variable in a one-step equation is being multiplied by negative 3/4. Describe how you would solve the equation for x. So think about example 2. How did we solve example 2? Go back and check it. I want you to write this out in your own words using complete sentences. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.